Now that song sounds really, really familiar. We are ready for this, aren't we? We're ready for this. I hope you're ready for this. Not quite sure what we're doing of. Have we got this? Oh, we've got it here. The Japan-England scarf. And that's what it's all about. We're going to talk about English Premier League football. We're also going to discuss the J.League. And I'm here with the esteemed editor of J.League. No, JSoccer Magazine. Not J.League Soccer Magazine. It's JSoccer Magazine. Check that out. So, first of all, I think we should discuss games coming up, perhaps. There's so many cameras around here, I don't know which way to look. No, I don't normally anyway. And I'll tell you what else we've got. We've got plenty of props that might come in handy, like this banana.
No,
Explain.
not Japan.
Okay. Well, this is very
Tropical
Japanese.
oranges?
This is very Japanese. Right, we've got all the advertising out of the way, so we can move on swiftly, or not so swiftly, onto our predictions for forthcoming games in the J-League. And you being the guru, you ought to get it right. I've been getting a few right. And Shimizu against Urawa Reds. more advertising going on there. Well, they're Kit Kat's red. But Urawa Reds, are they going to beat Shimizu S-Pulse away from home? Are they that good?
No. Actually, Shimizu S-Pulse have cleared out some dead wood in the last few weeks. Bought in a new striker. Yeah. Unloaded Jimmy Franza to J2. And he scored on his debut, so maybe he'll come back better. They got a couple of youngsters, blooded. Genki Omai and Takagi and Alex Brosk are scoring goals again. They've beaten Nagoya twice in the last week, twice in the Nabisco Cup, once in the league, and then they won last week. They beat San Frecce 2 weeks back. In a nutshell, S-Pulse are back and Reds are going to get stuffed.
Yeah, but you almost say that. You're a little bit biased against the Royal Reds.
I'm not biased against
Reds. And
Reds.
Shimizu are, just to digress a moment, they're featured in the forthcoming magazine as well.
They are. S-Pulse are featured in JSoccer Magazine issue 5, out on September the 15th.
And what kind of things, without giving the game away too much, are you going to be saying about Shimizu S-Pulse?
I'm going to say what a bunch of rubbish they are, actually. No. We got some really nice old pictures. We got an interview with Alex Brosk. We got some an interview with the boss, Afshin Gotbi, Sir Afshin. We even met the chairman and president for dinner, but after a little alcohol was imbibed, he said a lot of things that we probably can't write in the magazine.
That's a shame.
But we'll see what we can get away with.
Okay, so we got that down. I've got that down as a home win, and you're going along with my prediction on that.
I suppose we're going to win that.
I would say so. For whoever gets it right gets 1 point. So there's not going to be any difference at all between the two of us, and a lot of noise going on in the background all of a sudden, but we can live with that. Kashima against Niigata. Did I pronounce that well? Did I? Just say yes. Okay. You're not going to say no, are you? You never say no. But Kashima against Niigata, how do you see that panning out?
Kashima Antlers. If they have a manager on the bench, because he might be banned after all the stuff he said about the ref last week. But that's another story. Nearly made the interpreter cry. That was funny. Niigata are dire. Niigata are going down to J2. They're not going to win. Kashima win.
Okay, another home win. We both agree on that. We've got to disagree at some point. Omiya against Sendai. I've got it down as a draw. I hate to tell you that. And
Omiya are another team that are going down. Sorry guys, but and in fact JSoccer Magazine issue 5, September the 15th, has also got a feature on all the things that Omiya have done wrong over the last few years to put them in the position that they're in now.
Could you just give us a few without giving the whole game away? How many monumental errors have they made lately?
I believe there are 7 monumental errors listed by our friend Steve Barb. So,
and can you just name us one? Just one.
How about letting a certain guy called Barre go, who went on to score numerous goals for Gamba Osaka and moved to the Arab Emirates for millions of dollars.
Oh, okay.
It doesn't fit in. Doesn't shoot us.
So you're going to go for an away win?
Indeed. Sendai are slipping, and they will continue to slip like they did last year. They don't like the summer. They don't like it up them. But I think Sendai can win this one.
So I've got that down as a draw. So we differ there. What about Kashiwa against Jubilo Iwata?
Going to be a tough one. I tipped Jubilo to struggle a bit this year, and then they bought the Korean guy Beck, who's lovely. He's a very nice player. Maeda seems to be scoring goals when he wants to. Scores when he wants.
We don't like that charm.
He scores when he wants. Well, Arsenal never score goals, do they?
Well, not anymore. Not now. Robin Van Persie's gone. So what do you make of that? Sorry to change the subject.
Robin Van Persie.
Is he going to do well at United?
Yeah. This man is the man. This is the man. Shinji Kagawa is going to do well at United. In fact, looking at the first game, He hardly put a foot wrong. He did extremely well. He even got a few tackles in, but creatively he was wonderful. Robin van Persie came on and touched the ball 3 times, I think, in 15 minutes. I think Man United have done very good. Sorry, Arsenal have done very good business to get 24 million for a croc guy who only had 1 good season.
Yeah, but that's how I see it. And going back to the game in hand, it's not a game in hand because they all played the same number of games, right? But
Iwata, give us some money.
Iwata, are they going to win? Away from home at Kashiwa.
Jubilo Iwata are one of the top scorers in the J.League, but also one of the biggest conceders in the J.League. Ray Solar are, I think, the top scorers. So I reckon we're going to get lots of goals.
A goal fest.
A goal fest. Maybe 4-3 to Kashiwa Ray Sol.
So we agree again. Home win,
sorry,
unfortunately, but what can we do? It means our prediction is going to come true. So
hello,
what about
viewers?
It's going up all the time. So we're going to be well famous at this rate. Kawasaki against Nagoya.
A tough one. Nagoya have been pretty dire recently. Nagoya was away at the Olympics. Kennedy's been injured, and no news comes out of the club whether he's getting better or not. Who knows what's wrong with Josh Kennedy?
But how did they manage to lose 5-0?
Gamba
at home, they lost.
Gamba were amazing. This was their 20th anniversary, so they were probably already drinking before the game.
Nagoya's?
Nagoya's 20th anniversary game, wearing their special black shirts. They'll be consigned to the dump just like Manchester United's 6-2 against Southampton grey shirt.
They
won't be wearing those again. But anyway, we digress, don't we?
Yeah, so
Nagoya, Tulio's back, Nagai's in, Tamada's back from injury but very unfit.
And Kennedy's still injured.
We don't know. No news is coming out, so let's presume he's not playing. Masukawa suspended from last week. Danielson suspended. No, Danielson's injured. Daniel is suspended. I mean, basically they're half a team out. But Tulio's back.
And he will make a difference.
But I think he's got to play at centre back this week because both centre backs are injured. So I think it's going to be a tough one. Draw.
Oh
no, we didn't agree.
We've agreed again. This is dire.
This is boring, isn't it?
It is. Gamba against Sapporo. That won't be boring, will it?
Gamba goal fest.
Another goal fest.
5-0 away at Nagoya last week. The team that have conceded about 17,000 goals in their 22 games. Consadole Sapporo are dire. These are the kind of games that Gamba suddenly lose. But I can't see it happening. Can you? I guess we're going for a home win, aren't we?
Well, I was going for a home win. I'm going to change mine to a draw if that's allowed. I'm changing it to a draw because they won so convincingly the other day, and teams that do that tend to take their foot off the gas in the next game. So
indeed.
I'm going for a draw, and you'd get good value for that. So that's another good reason. Cerezo against Yokohama. What do you make of that? I'm talking into a Coke can all of a sudden. Right, Cerezo against Yokohama.
Yokohama haven't lost for 17 years, I think it is now. No, they're on a very long run of unbeatenness. They should have won last week, but Kawasaki came out with 2 late goals. Cerezo, they've changed their complete midfield this year. They lost Kiyotake and Kim to overseas, and they lost Yamaguchi and Ogihara to the Olympics temporarily. Those 2 boys are back. They've got a couple of other new players in. So they should have rebuilt. Last week they scored 3 goals against Jubilo, but Jubilo scored 4. So
it's unfortunate.
I think Cerezo can get a win out of this one. I'm going to go for Cerezo Osaka against Yokohama. A win for Cerezo!
Oh, we differ again. That's good. So that's a home win. So you don't think the returning Olympians are going to be struggling for form?
No, I think the struggling Olympians are returning. No, sorry, the returning
Olympians are struggling for form, or the other way around?
Actually, no, both of them scored a goal each last week.
Oh, okay, so they're not struggling at all.
I think Cerezo have to win it, otherwise they're going to be dragged down into the relegation battle just when they thought they was out.
And not talking of which, because Kobe are well out of it, they're mid-table mediocrity itself. Would you say I'm completely out of order on that? They're not going to get in the Champions League, right, this season? Oh, you think they will?
Well, the top teams, it depends on what the top teams do. If Sendai struggle, Sagan Tosu bubble bursts, Jubilo and Kawasaki Frontale continue to be inconsistent, Vissel Kobe always have a chance to get up there in the top 5 or 6 and maybe the top 3, but they have to win the next 3 or 4 games. They're rebuilding.
Can they beat a bunch of Tosu, though?
I think they can beat Tosu easily.
So you've got that down.
Especially at home.
You've definitely got that down as a home win by the sound of it.
A home win for Vissel Kobe.
And we agree on that. And I'm not gonna change my mind on that one. Hiroshima.
By the way, Vissel Kobe are actually sponsored by Kit Kat, among other people.
Oh really?
So if Nestle
sure
or
you're
Kit
not just
Kat
making
want
that
to, no, Kit
Okay.
Kat.
Right, and Hiroshima against FC Tokyo to just sort of round things off as far as predictions are concerned.
FC Tokyo are going to need to drink some monster
of that
stuff, some monster
to really make it.
or maybe some Red Bull to wake up, because they're struggling big time. They're starting to lose games. Well, they're continuing to lose games. They've got a new striker. I don't know how good he is, but he's tall and bold, so we're calling him the new bold guy. And the new bold guy, I don't know if he's good enough or not, but they're beset with injuries. If they're playing at home.
Yes.
Tokyo
are away.
Thank goodness they're playing away, because the Ajinomoto Stadium is like they've thrown MSG all over the field or something. It's a terrible field. And let's face it, Hiroshima are top, but J.League teams tend to lose when they're on top. Nah, home win. What did you say?
I said home win.
What a surprise.
So we've only differed on 3 results, which are Omiya against Sendai. You've gone for the away, I've gone for the draw. Gamba against Sapporo. I changed my mind, went for the draw. You've gone for the home win. And Cerezo against Yokohama. I've gone for the draw. You've gone for the home win. You don't want to change any of those predictions, do you?
No.
And well, talking of predictions, we've already covered that Kagawa's going to be a superstar at Manchester United. Well, what about Ryan Miyaichi? That loan move to Wigan, is it going to pay off for him? Is it going to pay off for Arsenal as well?
Rio
What do you
Miyaichi.
think? Oh, there he is. It's a lovely shirt.
I'd really like him to play for Arsenal, but Arsenal are racking in all these other players at the moment, and he probably wouldn't get to start yet. So loaning him out to a very, very average team like Wigan, sorry about that, he's going to... Actually, Martinez is a great coach for guys, so I think he'll learn a lot. He'll get a lot of starts, I hope. Having said that, he didn't even get in the squad at the weekend.
I think there's a slight reason for that.
Yeah.
As in, he needs a bit... Not a slight injury. He just needs a bit of time to get used to the way they play. I think that's what Martinez said.
Yeah, so I don't think it was anything personal or injury. So
not at all.
I think he'll get lots of starts, and he'll score a few goals, and he'll be back raring to go next year for the Arsenal.
Right, and talking of raring to go, are you raring to use this press pass that looks very, very unlike you? You look like a stalker.
Don't I look handsome there? Yeah? I look like I just got off the train at Ealing as I follow some schoolgirl home, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's like stalking. I'm at Ealing Broadway. Hello.
What have you got against J.League?
Hello, Ross. Sorry, mate. I didn't mean nothing wrong with your neighbourhood, Ross.
Yeah. That's where you do all your scouting, is it?
Yeah. It's the Women's World Cup, and yes, JSoccer.com is there. You'll see daily updates, or almost daily updates, at JSoccer.com. Japan drew with New Zealand 2-2 last night. Should have won 10-0. So says it all.
The goalkeeping was slightly iffy, would you say, during that game?
Slightly iffy, perhaps, but
and
one goal was an own goal, but Japan's goal was a deflection too, the first goal. So,
but the young Nadeshiko, great spirit, a bit like the older Nadeshiko, right?
The little rascals have spirit, bravado, a touch of daring do.
Yeah, so they've got all of that. And how did you feel? Did you feel very disappointed about the way the men's team sort of bowed out without getting a bronze medal, which I think they deserved generally, apart from perhaps in that last game? Gonda, my favourite goalkeeper in Japanese football, didn't have the best of games, did he, in that third place playoff?
The problem is that they make the goalkeepers wear pink. I mean, that sort of
so distracting.
Kills your confidence already. You walk out on the field and you're looking like, I'm wearing pink, I hope nobody's having a go at me.
And just think how good Cerezo would be if they changed their kit colour.
Yeah, they should go for light blue or something.
Yeah. I mean, they're playing in the same kit as Dulwich Hamlet, effectively.
Dulwich Hamlet?
Yeah.
They get a mention.
And look, exactly. You didn't expect that, did you?
I think the ladies did as well as can be expected. In fact, they should have won the final, to be honest. And the men, well, if you said a semi-final place beforehand, we probably would have taken it. But having beaten Spain and done a few good performances, I think we're probably disappointed that we didn't get the win in the end. But then again, losing against Mexico, who won the Under-17 World Cup recently as well. So Mexico, there's plenty of future in the Mexico, and no disgrace to lose to them.
And what about Nadeshiko, obviously getting as far as the final? I mean, they're tad lucky, some people said, against France. And as the BBC kept saying, oh Jimmy, I mean, Ogimi was pretty good throughout the tournament. There was a lot of good performances from Nadeshiko, really spirited performances. I thought they deserve to win the final. I mean, am I being biased saying that? What was your take on that?
I'm sorry, what was your question? No, I think they did well, and but it's just it's a game of two halves, sick as a parrot. You know,
all right,
all
I'm
that
going to
stuff.
move you off that then. If you're going to start that kind of talk, right? And to finish up, we said we'd talk about Premier League stuff, and you being a guru of the game in general, I thought it was fair enough to just ask you about transfer activity in general for all the Premier League clubs. And I mean, who's come out stronger so far? I mean, we're not at transfer deadline day just yet, but we're nearing it as we speak. We're ever closer. So Arsenal, obviously, they've brought in Cazorla, Olivier, Giroud, and Lucas Podolski, and two of those guys featured, quite prominently in the Euros. And would you, if you were an Arsenal fan, and I know you're not, would you be pleased with that sort of business, with perhaps Nuri Sahin coming in as well, the Real Madrid midfielder? Would you say that's good business by Arsenal?
As I said, I think
having lost Alex Song, and
the best bit of business was getting all that money for Van Persie and Song.
Yeah,
I mean, going for Song, I'm sure has been used already, but he wasn't going for Song, was he? They got a fortune for it.
Well, I thought so. I thought, what would your valuation be? Because I've not asked you this. I know what mine is, and
Alex Song is about 4 or 5 million kind of player, isn't he?
Yeah, I said 12, so and I got told off about that, and Arsenal got 15, so that's pretty good going. Always undisclosed, of course, so we can only speculate. And so so you think Arsenal have done reasonably well. What about Villa? I mean, to me, sorry to say this, as I know you're from Birmingham and everything, but the players are brought in as sort of almost like non-entities.
I think the owner of Villa is. He backed Martin O'Neill about 2-3 years back. Spent a fortune on guys and bought them in on ridiculously high contracts at high prices that didn't do very well. And I think he's once bitten, thrice shy. He's not giving any money, even though he's just sold the Cleveland Browns apparently for $1 billion. $1 billion. He's not putting money to Villa right now, but they've got a bunch of decent players and a lot of good youngsters. If the manager has got that talent to mould them into a team, that they'll have to be patient. They're not going to win the league this year, but I think they're okay.
So they're not going to be facing relegation then? You don't think
so? No.
And these additions, have you heard any comments about the likes of Karim El Ahmadi, Brett Holman, Matt Loughton, and Ron Vlaar?
Vlaar's a great centre back.
Yeah,
which is good because
when you say great in what? He's
got the potential to be a Dutch captain, for example.
All right, that's pretty great.
I think he's quite good, considering they got rid of Collins and that Spanish boy who played it right back anyway.
What do you think? Getting rid of Cuellar was a good move?
I don't think it was a good move, but
no choice.
He left, so I think they've done well to get this guy in. Holman, good little Aussie boy, I think he is, and there's plenty of youngsters in that camp that need to be pulled up by their bootstrings and coached properly. Plenty of potential in there, and then the likes of Gabi Agbon-Lahore and Darren Bent. I mean, they've got it in them. Yeah. Can they show it?
Possibly they can. And what about Chelsea? Are they gonna be pushing for the title this season with Eden Hazard, as he's sometimes called?
Hazard.
His brother, who I don't know, Torgan Hazard. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly. Marco Maran is an Oscar.
I think.
Are they going to make? Are they going to make him a stronger team
for some of his dives in the Community Shield? But I think the key man for Chelsea will be Torres. It's the old cliche. It's the old cliche of signing a new player. He's as good as being a new player if he comes with some confidence. I think Torres is a superstar, and just didn't show it for the last year. So I hope he will.
Yeah, and you don't think they're going to miss Didier Drogba too much?
Who?
All right. Perhaps not then. Kevin Morales has signed for Everton quite recently for
wonderful Belgian international.
Yes, and on the cheap. So Arsenal were checking him out, but he didn't want to join Arsenal because he didn't think he was going to be guaranteed first team football. But he's not necessarily going to get it at Everton, probably. But they've lost Tim Cahill, who's gone to America. Who else have they lost?
Tim Cahill.
Oh, they've lost Rodwell, who's gone to Man City. So, do you think Everton got off to a great start, of course, but how do you think they're going to fare this season? And they've brought in Pienaar on a permanent basis.
Pienaar. Marouani.
He's going to take time to adjust, that's for sure.
I think.
And Naismith's come in from Rangers.
Doesn't let me get a word in
I know.
edgeways, does he? So yeah, everything. Yeah, you said it all.
All right, come on. How well are they going to do? Just give me a number out of 10. How well?
In the top 18.
In the top 18?
Yeah, definitely.
All right, you're really
Let's
sticking
talk
your
about
neck
QPR.
out. No, I'm not ready yet.
And
we're going through in alphabetical order. Because if we don't do that, then we're going to miss someone, and then I'm going to get complaints. And the last thing I need is complaints, because I haven't got a complaints department set up. And they'd be complaining about you yawning, because it's really bad TV, by the way. As is going through things in alphabetical order, but here we go. Fulham. That's near QPR. It's just down the road.
Yeah,
or
Fulham.
up the road. So what about them? Are they going to do better? I've lost a lot of players.
And they might lose another one. They might lose another one.
Oh yeah, of course.
Mr. Dempsey claims to be on his way, or wants to be on his way.
He's been in that sort of limbo lounge for quite a while.
Yes. Who's after Fulham?
So they've brought in Hugo Rodallega, who's supposed to be pretty good. Doesn't really excite me.
See, I'm
Petric,
trying to look interesting.
Rieta, George Williams. None of them excite you, do they?
George Williams sounds like
they got off to a great start.
1940s journalist.
He does, certainly does. Wears Biggles glasses. So, what do you think? Have they got a good season ahead? Just because they won convincingly the first game of the season doesn't mean a thing, right? Bolton did last season.
Don't mean a thing. Fulham struggling.
You think so, do you? You think relegation material, don't you?
We didn't quite say that, but yeah, maybe because there's hardly any teams with W or B left in them, is there?
Yeah, right. So out of teams that are definitely going to go down. Liverpool, are they going to finish in the top 4? Now they've signed Joe Allen.
Definitely championship material because they've got Joe Cole.
Don't be rude about Joe Cole. He's got a lot of talent.
Joe Cole does have some
name.
latent talent. It just doesn't show it very often, but he sits on the bench and earns his 100,000 quid. It's probably not legal, and it's probably his agent wouldn't like it, and it's probably blah blah blah. But stick him on 5,000 quid a week, and bonus for passing and scoring. That's how
you
run these players. That's how I do it when I was a boy.
So you're saying where they're going to finish?
Liverpool, I think I've got this feeling about Liverpool. I've got this feeling when I was a lad. Mr. Mannering, don't panic. Sorry, I'm digressing.
You're really digressing. I mean, I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to put you out of your misery. We'll hit you over the head with
trying not to
Pikachu or something.
I'm trying to not answer.
You don't want to answer, do you?
I want Liverpool in the top 4.
That's not answering the question. Are they going to finish in the top 4?
Almost finished.
Are they going to finish in the top 4?
Yes, definitely.
Definitely. So I'm going to ask you who the other 3 teams are going to be. Man City, obviously one of them. So that's.
Yeah, I guess so.
So Jack Rodwell, is that going to improve him a lot?
No, I think he's going to get in the way.
He's going to get in the way.
I think he's going to be out on his ear as soon as Gareth Barry's fit again.
And we've already spoken about United. Do you think they're in for a good season? Who's going to win the title? City or United or another?
I quite fancy QPR. They seem to be buying everybody.
Despite them losing 5-0 in the first day of the season. So now you've jumped a couple of alphabetical places. Tell me about QPR. Why is it because they've just bought everyone that's available?
I think basically, what's happening at the Spurs though? I mean, letting Dawson go to QPR.
Yeah, he's a bit mad.
I don't know what's going on there. The next thing you know, bloody Mark Hughes is just going to buy anybody that he's ever played with or played against, or seen in a nightclub.
No,
which is why Joey Barton got in there. QPR, I think they're going to struggle. They're just going to keep buying players, and I mean,
that's not necessarily a bad thing. No, if you've got the money, why not spend it?
Spend it, yeah. I wish I could say that about myself.
Yeah. Well, if you sell a few more magazines, who knows? You might be bankrolling one of these clubs.
Right, JSoccer Magazine issue 4.
That.
Yeah, nice picture actually of Kagawa saying goodbye, and a couple of phrases that I wanted to teach Kagawa. I hope he read it.
Right.
Like it's a game of 2 halves. I'm as sick as a parrot.
Yeah, you did. You did mention those.
I'm over the moon, Brian.
Right. Okay, let's move you off that. And so you got. Who's going to finish top of the league? Because we was on Manchester United, so I thought it was relevant at this point. Who's going to finish top? United, City, Liverpool, Chelsea, Arsenal, or Spurs? Because it's probably out of those. Right?
Or Newcastle.
Newcastle. Okay, forgot them.
Have I shown Coca-Cola enough?
You're not going to answer, are you?
I think come back to me in 8 months.
All right. Talking about sitting on the fence, is your middle name Trevor Brooking, by the way? So, are you going to tell me anything more about any of the other Premier League clubs? Is that, or am I just sort of bumping up the wrong train?
West Brom. I was going to say they're going to be a surprise package, but hey, they've beaten Liverpool 3-0 already, so maybe they're not going to be the surprise package.
Something to tell you. I just thought of something. It was just this illuminating moment, and I just suddenly thought, how is it going to affect certain teams enlarging their pitch? Stoke City have had to enlarge their pitch. You know they do this thing with a long throw.
That's right.
They've had to enlarge their pitch to fit UEFA regulations. There's a number of other clubs that have been affected. West Ham being one of them. Sam Allardyce, obviously known for the long ball game. I'm not saying that's what he does anymore, but he's known for it. Do you think it's going to affect the outcome of games? Yes or no? And you can elaborate. You don't have to just say yes.
The size of the pitch, as you know, size matters, Joe, because you know size matters.
Yeah.
The size of the pitch does make a difference. I can go back in time to when I was a lad, and Graham Souness was manager of Rangers. You might know this. Graham Souness was manager of Rangers. Rangers were playing, I believe it was Red Star Belgrade, and they let Red Star Belgrade train on the pitch the night before, and they had it like maximum size, maximum width, about 85 metres wide, wherever it was. And then the next day, just before the game, they narrowed the pitch about 5 metres. And Red Star Belgrade, I didn't know what it did to me. I mean, they actually, all within the rules, of course. And there's nothing, even now, to stop Stoke. Stoke haven't got to make their pitch bigger. They've just got to follow the rules. They can still stay within the minimum.
But the minimum is much more standardised than it was, so they've had to increase the size of their pitch. So it's now effectively going to be the size of the Emirates pitch. So Arsenal fans are thinking it's going to be their season because it's an even playing field.
It's an even playing field.
Finally,
That's something else I should teach Kagawa Shinji about. It's an even playing field. We haven't mentioned Honda, by the way.
And yes, well, something that sort of relates to Honda, agents' fees. There's been an article in the UK about agents' fees and how ridiculously high they are. Even in the Championship, West Ham paid, I've got a note of it somewhere, it's like about 4.3 or 4.1, whatever. There's a lot of money they paid out, 4.3 million they paid out. But you can see the correlation between how much these clubs paid out in agents' fees and where they finished in the league table. If you didn't pay out a lot, you probably end up going down, and if you paid big money, you're going to be there or thereabouts. So, is it a cancer that has to be cut out of the game?
Yes.
And how does that relate to Honda? I'll let you work that one out. Has he got an agent, and is his agent trying to tout him a move across to the UK, possibly?
Well, last year they were trying to tout a move over to Italy, Lazio, which didn't work out, and then PSG, which didn't work out yet. And then earlier this year, I think CSKA, as we call them in Japan.
Oh, CSKA in Moscow. I wouldn't have known that. Did you not tell me earlier?
CSKA. I think didn't they play against PSG, and Honda was quoted as saying that this is not really a club that's any better than where I am now, which probably alienated some PSG fans. And now he's come out and said that even if Lazio came back in again, they're not good enough. They're not as good as where I am now. So he's he's burnt his apples and spilled over his bridges over there. So it basically leaves Spain or the Premier League.
Well, if he keeps coming out with stuff like that, then a lot of clubs won't want him as much as they would have done.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very un-Japanese saying that kind of thing, don't you think?
He's a very honest chap, even if he does wear 2 watches, which is a bit silly.
So you're saying he could go to the UK? It's a good chance.
I'm still hoping that he ends up in the Premier League.
Right. So on that note, should we leave it? Is there anything else that I should have discussed and didn't?
I think it's probably a good thing to leave it because I didn't actually mention agents at all, and what I've got to say would not really
not go down well. And seeing as I look like an agent, apparently, I should keep very quiet on this. So what we should say now is
take a break,
buy whatever, or get your magazine out, and it's got the words goodbye in German.
Ja, auf Wiedersehen.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Auf Wiedersehen.
All of you pets out there.
But buy JSoccer Magazine issue 5. I'm on Twitter at JSoccer Magazine, JSOCCR Magazine.
And I tweet occasionally, Joe Broadfoot. It's easy to find.
You can get the details for the magazine on the website, www.jsoccer.com. And I'll tell you what, Joe, anybody listening to this now should mention the word Kiyotake in an email to alan@jsoccer.com, ALAN@jsoccer.com. Say, Kiyotake, please send me a PDF and I'll send issue 1, 2, or 3 PDF free of charge to anybody who asks. This is issue 4, you'll have to buy it. And issue 5 is coming out September the 15th. We'll have lots of good stuff on.
Wow, I didn't realise you're that kind. On that note, I think I'll eat this banana.
Yes,
You won't say a word.
we have no bananas.
Until the next time,
Bye.
bye.